Hi, my name is Corey Kogan. I'm the Global Practice Leader for Productivity for FranklinCovey. I want to welcome you to a very quick overview of the 5 choices to extraordinary productivity. We're going to do this in 3 segments. 1, what's the problem around productivity today? Number 2, what's it costing us? And last, the solution, the 5 choices to extraordinary productivity. Let's talk about the word productivity. When you ask people what that means, most of the time they say the measures of input and output. It's absolutely right, the results of an organization. For FranklinCovey, for 30 years, we've been in the business of studying and research how people can be productive, human productivity, how they can bring their best selves to work. And that's what we're working on here with the 5 choices to extraordinary productivity. Let's take a look at some of the problems that we're dealing with today. Look at this image. Tell me if this is you or somebody you know. Are we taking our gadgets to bed with us? Or are we working so hard that we just have to work through the night? Take a look at this image. What do you see? We think that we've defined the word victory in the 21st century to mean just barely getting to a deadline, versus have we done it with quality? So there's this tsunami of stuff coming at us all day long. Information, demands, our boss, everything's coming at us, and we just sort of feel buried, don't you think? So what I'd love for you to do is take a look at this video and see if you can relate. And with the 5 choices, we have created a whole new set of world-class videos for our clients like you. Take a look.
Today's workplace is a battlefield. As soon as you enter, you are fighting to survive an onslaught of urgent tasks, emails, meeting requests, and deadlines. It's like an avalanche of gravel that threatens to bury you alive. And just when you think you've dug yourself out, it starts all over again. And it's not just at work. The gravel threatens our personal lives as well, distracting us from key relationships and things that matter most. So we try to sort the gravel, label it, and organize it. We discuss it in meetings, often missing issues that are far more important. What extraordinary things could you achieve if only you could break out? Ready for a change?
So are you ready for a change? There's 3 problems that we know exist today in a way that they never have before. Here comes the first one. We're making more decisions today than we ever have before. If you go back in time and think about 50, 60, 100 years ago in the industrial age, people, put a widget here and made a couple of decisions during the day or about their job. Today, you are hit with hundreds of decisions all day long, and we're trying to get it all done, and maybe not choosing the right decisions through the day as well as we're trying to get everything done. The second big problem that we're dealing with is our attention is under unprecedented attack. We've sort of enabled it, right? The onset of the fax machine brought us information to our fingertips, computers, laptops, smartphones. We just were craving all this information, and we're getting bombarded every day, every few seconds with our adrenaline getting hit. You know what? Part of the work with the 5 choices is that we have partnered with some of the top brain scientists in the world to help us understand what we need to do differently to stop that kind of behavior and really get important things done. The third thing is, if we're making all of these decisions and our attention is under unprecedented attack, that's exhausting. We're under personal energy crises today. We're just exhausted. So with those 3 problems, we know they exist, and we have to ask the question, so what? So do we just push through? Or what's it costing us? I just need to go back in time a little bit to be able to point that out. When you went back into the industrial age, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, scientific management, the assembly line came into being, Henry Ford, and that whole process, management, changed the world, changed our standard of living, changed the things that we could purchase. And it increased productivity 50-fold of the manual worker. We're at that same precipice today because, interestingly enough, today's workforce and its leaders are mainly knowledge workers. We use our minds. Software developers, salespeople, training professionals, HR professionals, most of us. And 70% of the workforce is knowledge workers. And we're sort of not prepared to have the same kind of scientific management process in place to be able to be highly productive today in the midst of all those problems. Let me show you a little bit about what I mean. We've been doing a survey since 2005 of 350,000 people to date who have self-reported that they are spending 60% of their time and energy on important things and 40% on unimportant and irrelevant things. And just think about that, 40%. If your equipment was only operating at 60% efficiency, what would you do? And sometimes I think we look at our people and say, I hope they can get better. Well, we know today that the solution to this has to be the following. What it's about is our people need to be highly skilled in decision management, attention management, and energy management. We also know that all of us have the opportunity and the ability to achieve extraordinary productivity. It's in all of us. And if we employ decision management, attention management, and energy management, we're well on our way. And that's what the 5 choices are about. So take a look at this graphic here. You can see that the first 2 choices are very specific and intentional around decision management. The second 2 choices are about attention management, and the 5th choice is about energy management. So let me explain a little bit about each choice so you get the full picture. Here we go. Choice 1, just imagine this. One of your employees or you show up for work and everything is coming at you. And in choice 1, act on the important, don't react to the urgent. It's about the skills of discernment. And as a result of going through choice 1, you should be able to discern everything that's coming in and saying, is it important, is it not? You should be able to align that with your boss, with your peers, so you're all in agreement. Is it important, is it not? If I have the ability to do that, I have the skills of discernment, I can move on to choice 2. In choice 2, we define potential. By doing choice 1 and knowing that I can discern and pick out the important things, then it gives me oxygen to say, you know what? I can be extraordinary. And what we do in choice 2 is have people look at their roles, because we are very self-identified by our roles, and our brain scientist partners have validated this with us, and our values are buried in who we are as parents, as employees, as managers, etc. So we ask you to look at your roles and say, you know what, I'm a marketing director. What does extraordinary look like? You know what, I'm a business catalyst. I'm a wife. What does that really look like? Well, I'm Steve's best friend. And so now I'm redefining my role to inspire me to say, you know what, I can do that. If I have choice 1, the skills of discernment, and I've got choice 2, defining potential through my roles, we can move to choice 3, which is about scheduling priorities. I could dream about being good. I have to operationalize it. I need the disciplines of knowing how to get the big rocks done amidst all that gravel from the video we saw earlier. How do I make sure, knowing that the world's not going to change because you and I had this conversation, but I have to make sure I'm so clear on what's important. I know how to discern some of the unimportant, and every week I'm going to apply the disciplines of weekly planning, time zoning, and daily planning, amongst other things, in order to make sure I'm getting the important things done, even when your boss comes to you and says, I need this now. If we do the first 3 choices, that takes us to choice 4. We have workflow process through the first 3 choices. And so with 4, we're going to align our technology. Rule your technology. Don't let it rule you. And we're going to take all that great workflow and align it and turn either Outlook or Lotus Notes into a productivity tool. We're going to have some great brainstorm conversations around the applications that are helping you get to your goals and fulfill your role. And we're going to take a look at a couple of the applications that maybe you go, maybe it's not so important. That brings us to choice 5. You know, if you do choice 1 through 4 really well, you're going to be energized. Anytime you do good work, you feel extraordinary, you know you're energized. The problem is that you can't sustain that without some help. And with the help of our brain scientist partners, we've identified the 5 energy drivers that are key to good oxygen and glucose, keeping our brains sustained, which leads to great physical and mental health. So those are the 5 choices, and again, I hope you see where decision management is in choice 1 and 2, attention management is in 3 and 4, and the skills of energy management are in 5. These 5 choices are the requirements for our workforce to achieve extraordinary productivity in the 21st century. For more information, please contact your client partner to understand how you can become a certified facilitator in your organization or bring an on-site pilot program to understand how this might roll out to your team or organization. Thank you for your time today and good luck with extraordinary productivity.